final game. What's been the reaction in the days since from your squad?
Well, we were, of course, very disappointed, and with as well to analyze exactly what happened and to check our injuries, because we had two difficult injuries, and to focus again on our next game.
Leicester's next. I just wanted to ask you, what is the challenge facing Leicester this season as champions? Because it's so hard to retain the Premier League.
Look, the challenge will be exactly, I think they have the same qualities they had last year. They're a team who is very quick on the break, who defends very well as a unit. And so we have to address our defensive weaknesses from last week, and without compromising with our style of play. That means continue to be very dangerous going forward and accept the way we want to play.
But what are the challenges for Leicester as champions? Because mentally it's totally different.
The challenges is to, for them, of course, is to do well again and to show that the last year was not the one-off, and that they can be capable to be. Certainly the challenge will be to show that they can be considered as one of the top teams in England.
Arsene, hello. Have you been surprised by the criticism of Sunday's defeat, I suppose, in terms of fans' reaction?
No.
Do you feel they have a point, or, I mean, has this been a difficult week for you, would you say?
It's a difficult week for me because I lost a home game, and that is, of course, very disappointing.
Has what happened on Sunday made it more important now to try and sign a central defender?
No, it was important before the game already, you know. It's not before. You do not sign players because you think it's important or not. I believe that it is very difficult to identify people and to find them, and we have many examples in England of people who have spent huge amount of money for central defenders who have not made it, and that's why everybody is on the market for the same players or for very few players as well.
Very few deals seem to actually being done at the moment. Is the Mustafi deal proving a problem, or is it still continuing to develop, that one?
I believe it's better I don't speak about any individual player. Just we are working very hard, you know. It's you are absolutely convinced that I don't want to spend the money. I just would like to reassure you we are ready to spend the money we have, as always. Not the money we haven't got, and it's not my money.
The fans will be encouraged to hear that, though, won't they?
Yes, you know, buying calms the fans, of course, but we have to make sure as well. It's important to spend money, but it's even more important to spend it the right way.
How close is Laurent Koscielny to returning, can you say at this stage?
As you certainly guess, he's close.
How difficult is this balance then between giving the players that have had a tournament a rest, which you've done with Laurent Koscielny? Aaron Ramsey plays and gets injured, so...
Yeah, it's very difficult because the clubs pay always for the fact that the players play in these tournaments. What has changed in the Euro, it is last month, like a World Cup. As you have seen, the Euro finished on the 10th of July, the final, and you started the championship the 14th of August. So what can you do? Or you give the player normal holiday, and they are not ready to start the championship, or you don't give them holiday and they are mentally and physically jaded. So somewhere the fact I gave him holidays at the start because I thought we have Gabriel and Mertesacker. Unfortunately we lost the two, and we're suddenly, of course, short of experience.
What's the latest on Aaron Ramsey's injury, Arsene?
2 to 3 weeks. It's not a bad injury. and he will be as well. They should be back after the break.
You've bounced back from opening day defeats before in recent seasons. It's something you're well used to doing. Do you get a sense that the players are ready to do just that this weekend?
That's our target. You know, we have a difficult game, and Leicester lost as well the first game of the season, so it will be already a game with a big tension, where both teams will want to do, of course, well because they failed in their first game.
Would it be particularly poignant if Jamie Vardy was to score against you, given
I don't know. I don't think that he had something specially against us. I don't see why he should.
Can you tell us about Serge Gnabry? Hertha Berlin are saying that they would like to sign him. Is there anything you can say on that front in terms of players going the other way? Is it there?
No, Gnabry. I want to keep Serge Gnabry.
Okay.
And to extend his contract, because I think we stood by him for a long time. You know, he went to West Brom, didn't get a game. We have to rebuild his confidence when he came back. I allowed him to go to the Olympic game without having played for us at all, to get him back to competition and to help Germany. So I think he's here now for a long time, and it's important that he stays with us.
Just one last one for me. Are English or players at English clubs almost being priced out of the market when it comes to transfers? I mean, there's lots of targets that clubs seem to have, but very few of them seem to be from one Premier League club to another.
You could say today in Europe you have two markets, one for the English clubs and one for the rest of Europe. The danger of the English situation at the moment is that the English clubs can suffocate themselves on a longer period. Why? Because they buy players at a very high price. That means there's always very high wages linked with it, and if they are wrong, they will have these players with high wages that cannot get anywhere. And you start the first signs now of English clubs having to pay massive wages. Even when the players go out, they have to pay half of their wages. So basically on a longer period, that will mean that the financial advantage that the English clubs have will drop, because they will be on their wage list, will pay 10 or 12 players who have gone somewhere else, but the clubs where they go cannot pay their wages.
Arsene, were you surprised by the fans' reaction on Sunday so early into the season?
I'm not surprised by anything anymore.
Can you understand it?
I can understand everything in human reaction. Of course, it's disappointment. They are disappointed. I'm disappointed, and but that's part of our job today. Fans are, I believe, in our society, people are more demanding. They are more intelligent, better informed. They have stronger opinions, and that is what you have to deal with. But that doesn't mean that. It just means when you have responsibilities today, you have to be even stronger and more determined, and still be strong enough to do the things that you are right, that you feel are right. It's more difficult, but as well still has the same importance to make the right decisions.
What would you say to them now? Be patient, give us a chance. It was 50 minutes into a game and already they seem to be turning. What would you say to them?
I just say that I do not speak to anybody. I focus on my job and I do exactly 100% what I think is right.
How did Sunday?
And I think I've shown in 20 years that it doesn't work too badly.
How did Sunday affect the mindset of the players? Because that was a damaging 14 minutes, wasn't it?
Look, we are professional people. We have 55 games in a season. If for one game we cannot play any more football, we have nothing to do in our job. That's part to have a successful season. It's to bounce back. It's the way you respond to defeats. It's maybe a bit more, makes a bit more echo when it's the first game, but it's still only one game.
Thierry Henry questioned this week whether Arsenal players, it's their first choice anymore to choose Arsenal. For players looking for a club, and he's questioned whether actually Arsenal is any longer the first choice for a player. Is that fair?
I don't feel that, no.
Is it becoming more difficult though to attract players to the club?
No, it's no. We have plenty of players who want to join us, and I would say even all the players who left, 99.5% of the players have asked to come back even when they left. He's one of them, so I believe that it's not so difficult to attract players.
You spoke about the players who played in the Euros. Is there a temptation though for you to, with Koscielny in particular, to push him back a bit early and playing?
It's a bit early, yes, but I have three players like Giroud, Özil and Koscielny who have not played for 2.5 months. I will have to take a gamble maybe, but I will still have 48 hours to decide that.
Do you think it's worth taking a gamble on Koscielny in particular?
If I have to take a gamble on one, it's certainly on him.
And just a quick one on Leicester. Do you think they can not repeat last season, but are they capable of finishing in the top 4?
Look, why not? But at the moment I am not too much concerned by that. I'm more focused on us responding well on Sunday. Although I think despite the game on Sunday, there are many positive aspects in our game that we want to keep for our next game against Leicester.
Arsene, I was just going to say, Arsene, Riyad Mahrez has obviously signed a new deal with Leicester. Was there any interest from you in signing him?
I don't want to speak individually about players.
Okay, transfer aside, what do you make of him and his performances last season for Leicester?
He has been outstanding. If you look at his numbers, certainly was in the top 3 in the league last year. If you consider the number of goals he scored and the number of assists he has, he had the best combination, assist and goals scored in the league.
Just a question on Granit Xhaka. Sometimes it takes players time to settle into their new surroundings. Sometimes they can get going straight away. What are your views on him and how he's settling into the club?
He's highly focused, and I think he settles in very quickly.
I read some comments from Jack Wilshere saying that he was very much a natural leader. Have you seen that?
Yeah, he looks like he has the qualities of a guy who can take responsibilities and is highly has a great will to lead. Yes.
Thank you.
Could he start, Arsene? He must be a bit further ahead of the other guys from the Euros.
He's a bit ahead, yes. It's not impossible. Honestly, I have not decided yet.
Jamie Vardy, did he give you a reason why he didn't come here?
No.
So how did that
Look,
happen?
you have to respect decisions of people, and that's part of it, you know. And I think on every transfer market you have one or two who have decisions to make, and you respect them.
But in terms of your summer plans, how much did that set you back? Because it does seem from the outside at least that you've been looking at options ever since then, really.
As you've seen, look at the whole transfer market. It's very little happened, you know, on the whole transfer market because it is for the availability of players. What can happen today is can pay huge amount of money for average players. That is plenty available, but to find the players who strengthen your squad is much more difficult.
With Vardy though, you must have been confident once you realised that the fee was realistic.
Look, you should ask him that question. I cannot answer for him.
Is Lacazette a possibility for you?
We don't speak about individual players.
Because he's somebody who, you know, is apparently valued at about 60 million when he didn't even make the France squad for the Euros. Is he an example of somebody who, if he was worth half that, you might do a deal?
Look, I told you already what are the criteria for the price of a player, but you could add one more, is maybe the identity of the buyer. And the identity of the buyer, when he's English, it's true that it multiplies the transfer by 2 or 3 or sometimes by 10. Because if for the same player, if an English club doesn't come in, the player is worth 5 million. If an English club comes in, it's worth 35 or 40 or 50.
Does there come a point, though, in the next 2 weeks where you either decide you're going to have to pay over the odds or you go with what you got?
Look, first of all, you have always to be convinced by the quality of the player. Before you pay over the odds, you have to be convinced that the player is good enough to strengthen your squad. And you have then to make the decision after how much you pay over the odds. That is not the basic problem, but as well, then you must have the money available to pay, because we are already invested. You people forget that at a very high price, and we will do it again. But
so is it a case then that you haven't yet identified a player who you think is worth paying over the odds for? Is that where you are?
look, we work very hard, and I cannot tell you much more. What I fight against is that to think as well that the only way in football to deal with is to buy. It is right when you need the players and you identify the players. We are not scared to spend the money, but to buy in itself is not a quality. To buy the good players is a quality. And I think this club has been built on that, and if we have had success in the last 20 years in improving our structures, the main thing is based on the transfer policy that we have built the club. So I know that everybody questions that at the moment because we haven't done as much as people wish, but we are out there, and I believe I've made 400 transfers in my life approximately, and I know that every transfer has a rhythm that you are not the only one to decide on, you know.
Thank you very much. Can we take the microphones out, please?